I'm Jeff Hunt. He's Bill Thorpe. It's Thursday.
Do you think Mike Johnston knows about the Chicago guy?
Oh, this was fascinating.
Yeah.
Yesterday, a mayor of the city of Evanston, Illinois, was caught on camera in a tense street showdown. Blue City leader clashes with immigration enforcement commander during a crackdown outside of Chicago. Now, I would play this audio for you, but it would just hurt your ears. But it is caught on video. And Fox News has this, as well as lots of other places. But this mayor, very progressive, Harvard-educated, MIT mathematician type of guy, okay, one of those very dumb, smart guys, very progressive, is out there marching and comes up right up against ICE and starts to get in ICE's face. Now, if you remember, Mayor Mikey was going to have his Tiananmen Square moment early on in Trump's administration, about a year ago. Mikey Johnston. And by the way, let's just take a moment to go on the Mikey Johnston journey here for a second, okay? City of Denver, under Mayor Mike Hancock, puts up a big banner. Denver hearts immigrants. One of the greatest exposés of virtue signaling you would ever see. How do I know it's virtue signaling? Because the giant banner that says Denver hearts immigrants is written in English. Not written to communicate to the immigrants how much it's written to all the other libs out there, how much Denver hearts immigrants. So under Hancock, this big banner goes up there, and a certain governor from Texas goes, I got a lot of illegal immigrants here. Who loves them? Let's survey the country. Oh, Denver loves them. I'll send 40,000 of them. Now, Mayor Mikey had just become the mayor of Denver, and 40,000 illegal immigrants show up in February into the city of Denver. It's a little cold. They're not typically from cold climates. They're not used to this. They get bused to Colorado. Mayor Mikey goes, all right, we'll spend money, a lot of money, on illegal immigrants to the tune of $356 million, providing them 6 months of apartments, debit cards, workforce training, and even their own lawyers to work through the immigration process. The city of Denver ends up in a big deficit. We'll get to that in a second. But during all this, Donald Trump gets reelected, and Mayor Mikey goes, not on my watch is ICE going to come into Denver, and threatens to use Denver police at the county line to fight back against those ICE officials. Even says, I will have my own Tiananmen Square moment. If you remember, Tiananmen Square is the dude that stands in front of the tank. So Mayor Mikey, he's all ready. I'm going to stand in front of the giant tank that Trump's going to have. Now, what you may not know is that Mayor Mikey's wife's an attorney. And I believe she works either for the county or for the Fed. She's an attorney for some actual government entity. And she just goes, honey, can't really do that. Can get in the way of a federal immigration operation. So I love you. Maybe walk it back. Mikey Johnston starts to walk it back. Now, he does hire attorneys to the tune of about $1 million to defend him when he's called before Congress to explain himself. But here's a big qualifier. While the city of Denver spent $356 million providing all these services and going broke as a result of it to the tune of $250 million, they end up having to fire 170 employees and leave 600 vacancies open. City of Denver now facing very significant financial crises. Think about all that Mayor Mikey was willing to do. In the 2026 budget, he's not allocating a single penny to illegal immigrants anymore. So that is the journey we've gone on with Mayor Mikey. Now, you have this mayor in Evanston, Illinois, yesterday. Daniel Biss is his name, a progressive Democrat, also a congressional candidate, confronts Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino during a street-level Title VIII immigration enforcement operation. that drew a couple dozen protesters and quickly turned chaotic. According to the video, the standoff occurred around 11:30 a.m. in a city outside Chicago, where an 11-vehicle Border Patrol convoy had arrived to detain multiple individuals. Eyewitnesses wrote that agents appeared to detain at least 2 people as the crowd formed. A video shared by Fox 32 Chicago shows Biss dressed in a dark tailored coat and dress shoes. Remember, he's Harvard, MIT. Visibly standing out from the bundled up crowd, stepping directly towards Bovino as protesters yell and blow whistles around them. That's why I'm not playing the audio for you, because it gives you a headache. It's just a lot of whistle blowing.
Yeah, it's just noisy.
Biss confronted him immediately, declaring, "This abuse has not been acceptable. The racism has not been acceptable. The violence has not been acceptable." Wow. So brave. Confronts the ICE agent. Bovino, surrounded by agents wearing protective masks and tactical gear, fires back. "Yeah, well, that's why we're here in your community." A nearby protester then shouted repeatedly at the commander, "Hey, Bovino, we don't want you here, bro. We don't want you." As the shouting intensified, multiple protesters tried to block the roadway, while police from Evanston and Chicago worked to keep a corridor open for vehicles to leave the area. Biss, who's running for Congress as a, quote, pragmatic progressive, unquote, later amplified his criticism in a post on X, writing, "The only violent mob in Evanston today was Greg Bovino and his masked thugs terrorizing innocent people and then lying about our city to try and show chaos." He added that Evanston is a safe place in spite of ICE, not because of it. Praised residents who chased you out of town and concluded, "Don't come back." Bovino disputed Biss's claims and described the encounter as productive. He wrote the agents were in Evanston to make the city a safer place through Title VIII immigration enforcement, and said the mayor fell back into divisive talking points that we've heard ad nauseum. Bovino called it an excellent day in Evanston. The Evanston Police Department in Chicago PD assisted with crowd control, ensuring federal vehicles could exit safely. According to Bovino's account, in the video, officers directed traffic and created space as protesters attempted to approach the convoy. Title VIII is the federal legal framework for immigration enforcement and can involve operations from the border when agents are conducting investigations or targeting specific individuals. Wednesday's confrontation reflects growing tension between federal immigration enforcement and leadership in Democrat-run communities. Now, I bring this up in part because of what Daniel Biss posted a little bit later on X. He said of the encounter that it was ICE that's the problem in the communities, not illegal immigrants. He writes, "We will not be intimidated. Get the hell out of our city." The Democrat mayor, not using his bravery, his strength to target illegal immigrants that could be terrorizing his communities. No, he's not going to walk out there with his suit. He is saying, "Get the hell out of our city," to immigration officials. Is this just another example of progressives always being criminal first? They just always are willing to put the criminals first. He's willing to go out there in his suit. He is standing there. He is confronting criminals? No. He's defending criminals and confronting immigration officials. I contend Democrats are criminal first. Always, every time. Prove me wrong. Give me a call, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Capitalist Law text line, 720-819-5115. Now is time for the news.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment. Good Thursday morning, 34 and partly cloudy in Denver, expecting a high of 46 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story.
When one structure catches on fire, it's going to burn for a long time, and if we don't get it put out, and just the embers that it will release over that time that it continues to burn can cause everything around it to catch fire, and then it just is compounding.
West Metro Fire Captain Mayor Johnston, that's what we are trying to avoid, losing electricity. That's not good, but fires are worse. Utility crews still working to restore power in parts of Colorado where residents were hit with wind gusts up to 100 miles per hour. Last night, a lot of it was preventive, of course. Multiple fires, though, broke out in Yuma County last night, and all but one have been contained. Mayor Tim McClung.
There were as many as 9 fires at one point in time. Our concern here in town, primarily because the fires were south and east of us and the wind was out of the north, was what was going on in town.
The only fire that is currently active is in a rural area of the county south of Eckley near the Hartstrong neighborhood, burning an estimated 40,000 acres as of early this morning. The Office of Emergency Management says that homeowners should evacuate immediately if a fire is approaching their home. 3 shelters are available at the Grassroots Center, Ray City Hall, and Yuma High School. A request to help contain the fires was sent to farmers who have tractors and discs readily available. Inflation has cooled. The Consumer Price Index rose by an annualized rate of 2.7 last month. DJT is highlighting the progress the United States has made during his first year back in office. Trump took aim at the crooked Joe Biden administration while highlighting an economy he said was trending upwards during a primetime speech at the White House on Wednesday. It lasted just 18 minutes. Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino will step down from his position. Bongino said in a post on X, on his profile, that he would be leaving the role in January. DJT said he thinks he wants to go back to his show, and I would agree. So hopefully he can expose as much as possible to the American people. That may be difficult, though. We shall see soon, I'm sure. The House has narrowly approved a GOP health care bill that does not extend expiring non-Affordable Care Act subsidies. Wednesday's vote was 216 to 211, with 4 moderate Republicans who had broken earlier from party leaders ultimately voting yes. All right, Candace last night, veteran Utah police officers have told her that after covering every inch of that area where they were looking for the smoking gun, and they found it with their incredible bomb dogs. They didn't find it with the bomb dogs, who are, by the way, undefeated. They did a thorough search, did not find anything, nothing. And then the feds show up and find the youngest, most inexperienced officers.
And the federal officers specifically direct them, check again over yonder. Check again yonder, right over there, because I just don't trust that super high-grade technology of a dog's nose that we have. And you, sir, you 3, go and see if there could be something over there. We can't trust those 100,000 times stronger noses. You're human. Take on the task. And guys, you're not going to believe me. The nose that's trained to pick up gunpowder, explosive, combustible material, they get an F. But lo and behold, these police officers, bam, there it is, the gun. We've got the weapon. Woo! There's no cheating here. We nailed it. We might as well get rid of these dogs, right? It's completely useless to have these dogs around. I have the names of the officers who were involved in that discovery. I do not intend on releasing those names at this moment in time, because I'd like to try to reach out to them in earnest, and also because I also need to research them, because I'm like this and I need to know who their great-grandparents are. I need to know everything about these officers.
Oh, my God. That means the dogs are part of the deep state. How deep could this go? This isn't just about people that are bipedal. This is four-legged deception. The deep state is so omnipresent that they have convinced the dogs to actually participate in the conspiracy. This is incredible. This is absolutely amazing. Has she verified this with Weekly World News? Has she called the National Enquirer?
I think Bat Boy is somewhere else.
Yes, I think Bat Boy too. Maybe Bat Boy is the dog trainer that teaches them how to ignore things based on a certain call.
I do love her referring to Yonder. Apparently, she watched a lot of Little House on the Prairie.
Who the hell says Yonder?
I like Yonder. I like it. I mean, you could put it in those text messages with the furries and the transgender.
I know, but she's saying that the law enforcement people look over yonder.
Really? Right, I know.
Really?
You've seen Andy Griffith's shows.
I know, but do we think that it's Andy Griffith and Barney Fife that are out there doing a search for the drug dogs?
Evidently, they do.
Yonder, no, they
so
don't.
the dogs couldn't find anything. I find it
obviously part of the deep state. Because that's what she's implying. She's implying that the dogs are part of the conspiracy. That's the only way this conclusion works.
I told you we were going to get to the dogs barking in Morse code.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true. How are the dogs part of the conspiracy,
because they didn't find it. Oh, my God.
Yeah, so they didn't find it. Then the feds show up.
I know, but the idea being that their drug dogs didn't find it. They're great noses. And she's like, what? The great noses, the drug dogs didn't find it, but these humans did. The only way that works is if the drug dogs are in on the conspiracy. It's the only way it works.
could there have been a possibility that the feds show up and they place the rifle after they show up?
So now the feds have the rifle and then place it
Well,
down.
I'm just saying, I mean, could there be a possibility of that?
How do the feds get the rifle that belongs to the shooter and his family? Because Grandpa, hang on a second, here's the issue. No, I mean, again, the idea of I don't know isn't necessarily applicable in this case. Mm-hmm. Because what that means is they would have to get a hold of the gun prior to this incident, a gun that the kid has been hiding and is in possession of, and the family knows he's in possession of. He doesn't say he's lost it beforehand. And here's the deal. If the dude isn't the shooter, one of the first things that the lawyer will argue is he lost that gun X number of days ago. He was not in possession of that gun on the day in which the shots were fired. That would be one of the top arguments from the lawyer, and he hasn't submitted that. Remember, the lawyer's job is to get his client off. That's it.
Correct.
That is the goal. And so that is a wonderful argument to say my client is not only not guilty, but shouldn't even be kept in jail right now because he was never in possession of that rifle on the day the shooting took place. The lawyer's not making that argument. Again, this is why the conspiracy falls apart, is if you walk more than 3 steps with Candace, everything begins to fall because she makes no sense based on her conclusions. Now we have drug dogs that are part of the great big conspiracy, and we have a defendant who wouldn't defend himself by saying somebody else had the gun at the time. This gets sillier and sillier. But it's fun to read. It's like a roller coaster. Every day there's a new surprise.
But always remember what Charlie said.
You better keep asking questions because it's the only thing that keeps us free.
Yes.
But what if the questions are stupid? That doesn't help. I'm just saying,
that's
if we walked
subjective.
around here saying, are we sure the earth is round?
This is why she's not just asking questions. This is why she's likely to face a lawsuit, and why Candace backtrack, too, on her statement about getting donations back from Turning Point USA. She made this during 2 podcasts ago, where she's like, look, I got a little angry. I apologize, because there's real damage right now to Charlie's family, to his legacy, to everything he's built.
I don't think there's any damage to Charlie's legacy.
Oh, there's tremendous damage.
Not to Charlie's legacy. Everyone loves Charlie. I mean, except for the people who hated him prior to this.
It's damaging
Nothing
to
has happened to his reputation.
It's damaging to Charlie's reputation.
It's damaging Turning Point USA because
that's his legacy.
That's his
people
legacy. And these are all the people
McCoy.
he hired. And this was the team he built. This is the woman he married. And this is the family. People are now saying that Erica Kirk never really had kids. There's no pictures of her being pregnant. What are those stuff? I mean, this is all a systemic effort to go after his legacy.
Candace hasn't said that.
Yeah, but other people are.
Yeah, but other people are because they're playing the conspiracy
game.
But
I don't
it harms his legacy because Turning Point is his legacy. That's how it harms him.
True, but those 600 other people are not. I mean, Rob McCoy is not his. I didn't know who Rob McCoy was.
Those people at Turning Point are. But Blake, those people at Turning Point are. Blake, Blake, they were there beforehand. They were hired, as Jeff pointed out, by Charlie Kirk and his team.
Absolutely.
By calling that into question.
I didn't know any of them.
But
didn't know any of them.
That doesn't matter, though. They're irrelevant based on whether or not you know the names.
Right.
The issue is each one of those names Charlie knew. And Charlie approved them being hired. And Charlie was in charge of the group.
That doesn't mean he can't be betrayed.
Hang on a sec. Again, there is the conspiracy theory that all of a sudden now it's a betrayal that Candace Owens walked back when confronted by Piers Morgan. She was directly said it was a betrayal by Turning Point USA, and then she walks it back when confronted by those words. So even she, at her core, can't stand on that platform. The problem being that as soon as you call into the idea that Turning Point betrayed him, you're now calling into question Charlie Kirk's legacy because it means he was dumb enough to put people in his organization to betray him. Oh, yeah, it does.
No one thinks that.
Oh, yeah.
No,
that's the implication.
Everyone thinks he's so nice, which I do too. I mean, you can be gullible and vulnerable, and
thus hurting his reputation, his legacy.
I don't think so. I think he was
rather than him being a
he was
truth teller,
hyper focused on the country.
But you just said he was gullible.
But
now he was gullible.
Maybe. I mean, we all can be gullible.
And
you may think I'm gullible listening to Candace,
but I'm just saying that hurts his legacy. Your statement there.
No, I don't think it hurts his legacy. He's one of the smartest, most intelligent people that we have ever seen in politics. And the most likable and engaging. Gullible. So I don't think it hurts. I don't think it hurts him at all.
And yet also
his
gullible.
Legacy.
Yet also he's gullible, right? Because that's what you said.
I think there's a possibility.
No. It can't be unless we think that Turning Point is complicit and part of Turning Point betrayed him. Then Charlie Kirk's gullible because he's the one that proved them, and so that hurts his legacy.
It may only take one or two. It may only take one or two within the organization.
I know. Again,
possibly.
Do you see how far this has to go in order to make the timeline still work?
Rather
than just saying,
no doubt.
I know. It is the twist and the mental gymnastics of the idea that I'm confronted with something that actually refutes what I think the timeline is, so I have to invent something else in order to keep my rationalization possible. This is cognitive dissonance. This is how it works psychologically, that you have to find something else to work, and that's what Candace is doing. Candace is saying, I got to find something else because if Turning Point was complicit, that then she walked back, it would, as you said, makes Charlie Kirk gullible, makes him somewhat of an idiot, makes him somewhat of a fool for having these people around him and not realizing it, and how many people were in on it. And then it calls into question Turning Point being a legit organization, which is his legacy. It hurts his reputation. It hurts Turning Point's reputation.
No, his legacy is Charlie Kirk.
She's trying to tear it down. She's trying to tear it down.
Okay. We'll see. I'll keep on reporting tomorrow. 32 in Lafayette, 33 in Littleton, 34 in Denver. You're waking up with Jeff and Billy. Blake Olson, News Talk, 710 KNUS.
As a Pacific storm system in front coming out of the Pacific Northwest rapidly moves into Colorado today, generally light winds to start the day will ramp up this afternoon, and conditions will get quite windy this afternoon, this evening, and overnight into early Thursday, especially along I-25 and west. Do be ready for that. Highs today will be mild, mid to upper 60s. Then the wind up to 50 miles an hour in gusts. Higher gusts in those foothill areas. There will be a small chance of a rain or snow shower this evening and overnight. Colder tonight, a low near 30. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Jingle Bells, Brian Setzer Orchestra. This is a fantastic version, but Jeff, earlier we had talked about the history of Jingle Bells. Again, not racist. But we talked about it being the very first song played in space. I went back and did a little more research because I want to share this with you and the audience. So it's two astronauts, Gemini 6. They have this idea to play this kind of Christmas-ish prank, Jingle Bells in space. They rehearse the song a couple of times before they ever get on the rocket to go to space. They rehearse it, and then they smuggle a harmonica and jingle bells, things they're not supposed to have, into the space capsule. They get up into space, and then they go, excuse me, Mission Control. Mission Control, we have a satellite sighting here. We have an object that looks like it's going north to south. 8 capsules in front, and then a main capsule in back. Guy possibly wearing red now, descending, and that's when they hit the song. And they go into Jingle Bells. Yeah, you can actually see the instruments at the Smithsonian. Yeah, you can see those. I know. I love the fact that they did it in space and they had a plan beforehand and then they smuggled the stuff in there. I mean, okay, you got to be honest here, Jeff. Middle school and high school, Bill and Jeff appreciate the fact that they smuggled the instruments onto the spacecraft. I love that.
I did smuggle a fart machine into my 7th grade class.
You have my respect, sir.
And I remember my teacher trying to figure out where it was and who had it.
Oh my God! Okay,
it was remote controlled too.
Oh, even better. Okay, now as you say, fart thing, I'm not linear. I'm very tangential. I had seen a great prank that's happening recently. So you've seen a lot of people going around in those inflatable suits, dancing around and doing things in public. Saw a person's been playing pranks lately. Has that handheld fart spray and goes and sprays it into the vent.
Sprays it into it.
Yes, sprays into the vent. And what you see is it takes about 10 seconds for the person inside the suit to go, oh my God, what is that? And the hilarious part is they all of a sudden have this, like, as I'm going to use it from Joe from Arvada earlier, this spasmodic attack of trying to get the suit off, and they can't. And so they are flailing around. It is one of the funniest things I have seen in weeks. It is great.
Lots of text messages on the Candace Owens thing, by the way, which is fascinating. Marvin the meat handler reminding people that Jesus was betrayed. So is that an attack on Jesus' character? Good question. Cap Hill Phil saying either every person that Charlie Kirk surrounded himself with is a liar willing to protect the conspiracy of his assassination by a deep state, or Candace Owens is a liar. One of those seems a lot more plausible than the other. Yes, I know a lot of the people around Charlie. I know Charlie was a man that was in control of his company. That's why, in part, I don't believe what Candace is saying and trying to create this dichotomy that somehow he was betrayed by all these people that just were secretly hating him and wanted to set him up and were complicit in his assassination. Turning point is his legacy. Candace Owens is creating real problems for Charlie's legacy, and I think she should be sued into the ground. All right. I want to talk about this because I think you're going to see more of it. I laid out what this progressive mayor in Evanston, Illinois did, directly confronting ICE being so brave and saying on X that he will not be intimidated by ICE. Get the hell out of our city. And my theory, my thesis has been, in a lot of ways, Democrats over and over again prove they're criminal first. I mean, we had the effort to try to put people that rape children into jail, mandatory jail in Colorado. Democrats killed it, concerned about what life might be like for those people in prison. So in Colorado, you can rape a child and get probation. And then you have these DAs, these judges, over and over again with these weak sentencing, except Tina Peters, no, she will face 9 years. We must do justice. But if you drive a truck into 28 cars and kill 4 people, well, then we'll commute your sentence, especially if Kim Kardashian calls. Democrats over and over again willing to go and stand with criminals against law enforcement. And they're doing it now against ICE. Now, I have gone and attended these anti-ICE rallies. I was assaulted at one of them. I know how passionate Democrat voters are against holding people accountable for breaking immigration laws. I mean, they are passionate to defend the immigrants. They will go out there and have big marches. They will now directly confront ICE. The worst thing in the world is that somebody might be deported. So we're going to go out there and stand, because the real problem, like Daniel Biss, the mayor of Evanston, saying the real problem is ICE. We are safe in spite of ICE, not because of it. I am so proud of our people that showed up and chased you out of town. Democrats want ICE out of town, not the illegal immigrants, not Tren de Aragua, not people that are torturing folks in Aurora. You. And you see it with Jason Crow, too. Right? He's going to go down to the ICE detention facility and measure the temperature of the beans. Make sure that the immigrants and the food that they're being served follows all the proper protocols. It's really, really important. Jason Crow's never met with anyone who's lost their lives as a result of an illegal immigrant in this city. No, he won't take the time to meet with families affected by illegal immigration, but he will go down to hold those working in the Aurora ICE detention facility accountable. This mayor out of Evanston, he's going to go fight the real bad guys in his town, ICE agents. And the voters are going to continue to reward them. I believe this is going to get worse. I think you're going to see more and more Democrats do this. You may see a revisit of this by Mayor Johnston, that they're going to go out there and directly confront ICE because the voters in these progressive communities will reward them. The voters willing to put criminals first. Prove me wrong. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. Let's talk advanced hair restoration. Guys, if you're losing your hair and desire to have it back, then Advanced Hair Restoration has the easiest guaranteed solution. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results. I've seen it with my own eyes. Guys, it's not magic, but close to it. They put hair where you need it the most, and bam, it grows. It's actually science. Advanced Hair has it all. Top-rated Dr. Tanya Paul's modern technology, and best of all, you get your own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day. Advanced Hair even guarantees it will grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now, 720-459-HAIR. 720-459-HAIR. If you qualify, you get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Advanced Hair is the winner of Westward's Best of Denver and has changed the lives of tens of thousands of people. So don't wait. Check out the before and afters online for yourself. 720-459-HAIR or advancedhair.com. 720-459-HAIR. Advancedhair.com. We'll continue with your phone calls and texts. And Iggy sending in pictures of Bat Boy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In college, I had a T-shirt that had his face on it.
That was like, I was like 12 when that happened. Yeah. And I still remember being like terrified about the world I lived in.
Over Bat Boy.
Like, who is this guy? And did they kept him in a cave or something like that?
Well, it depends. Yeah, there was a cave at one point, and then he escaped, but he was also in a facility for a time. And the only reason I know this, Jeff, you talked about recently at our holiday party, you got to sit next to my better half. And she revealed that in college, she and I actually did a show together. And one of the things that we did on Friday is we would bring in, and I'll use it in air quotes, alternative news sources and treat them as if they were real. So we would catch up with like Weekly World News and things like that.
You were the early adopters of Candace Owens' strategy.
Yeah, and so we were just like, oh my God, have you seen Bat Boy has escaped? Okay, where's Bat Boy? We've got to talk about this. And again, the callers would call in and they would pretend like, I think I saw Bat Boy over the loafing jug. And so they would call in and they'd play along with us. But we would take all of those crazy stories and spend the show pretending as if they were 110% real. It was fantastic.
Classic.
Yeah,
all right,
that's why I had the
join
T-shirt.
the conversation. 303-696-1971. Are Democrats criminals first? Are they always going to put criminals ahead of everybody else? They'll go out there and stand in defense of criminals against ICE. Or am I wrong? Are they actually compassionate and thinking of others first? 303-696-1971. Text us at 720-819-5115. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader News Talk 710 KNUS. This is unusual. This is the Blue Baron and the Blue Notes doing this Santa Claus coming to town. We talked about this a little bit earlier. It's originally done in the 1930s. Eddie Cantor is the first one to record it. He didn't write it, but I had to do a little more research. We talked about Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, this being a precursor to Walk Like a Man and getting to number one. But the Frankie Valli and Four Seasons versions of this song is the very first time this song enters the top 40. There are tons and tons of remakes of this. Jackson 5 have a famous one, but it never charted. It didn't chart until we had the All Christmas stations. The Jackson 5 version of the song didn't make it into the charts until the 2000s, I think, in almost like 2020 is when it was. So it took a long time. But it's the third most popular Christmas song of all time. White Christmas is number one seller. Rudolph is number two. That is number three.
There you go. We're all smarter.
And I still can't do math.
I appreciate that.
Thanks.
So, Mr. Thorpe, I think yesterday was a Rubicon that has been crossed. Let me ask you why, or tell you why.
Please.
It was Trump's preparation for 2026. That was really the point of yesterday's address, was to, all right, game on. Here we go. Election season. And it always feels like we're in election season, especially in talk radio, constantly talking about politics. But for most people, it's that kind of a pivot moment to get ready for Trump's argument to the American people on why Republicans should maintain control. But you're also going to see the Democrat argument coming. And you saw it a little bit in a mayor out of Evanston, Illinois, which is a suburb north of Chicago, which is a rather nice suburb. It's not the south side of Chicago. It's the north side.
Yeah, it's
right
nice.
along the lake there. And he directly confronted ICE, saying, get out of this town. We don't want you here. A mayor not going to illegal immigrants and saying, get out of our town, but going to ICE, running a perfectly legal operation, saying, get out of this town. We don't want you here. So I think that Democrats are going to lean into this. I think with their base in particular, there's no loss. There's only benefit. There's only upside. Be as aggressive against ICE. There's no ICE rallies, anti-ICE rallies taking place in cities across America. So I think you're going to see Democrats like Jason Crow and others get more confrontational with ICE because their voters want it. What are your thoughts, sir?
See, this is one of the reasons that I really enjoy doing the show with you, because of these type of strategic insights, especially around political campaigns, because I think you're 110% correct. Absolutely, they are going to lean into this because, and you've said this a number of times, there's no real downside for them. They're not going to lose a single voter by doing this, and they can only gain voters. Absolutely, they're going to do this over and over again. And I'll tell you why I think so. The major reason might be a little surprising to most people. It's the visual. Because you want this visual, and what you want is you want the politician standing in front of masked, fatigued, militarily armed people that look like soldiers that are supposed to be enforcing immigration. That visual of the Evanston mayor standing in front of the ICE captain and everybody else around him in tactical gear with masks over their face, that looks like something out of a police state. That looks like something out of a sci-fi dystopian novel. That looks like something you would find in a country that is run by a dictator. And that's the visual they're shooting for. The masked, tactically armed enforcement. That's
Do you
what
think,
they want.
though, that's a low voter IQ perception? Like, that's going to appeal to people that are going, oh, they look scary. I mean, all they're doing is trying to enforce immigration law.
Well, I think that the issue, and this is why, is I don't think that the average voter is going to go, well, all they're trying to do is enforce immigration law, because people that are going to be, I'm going to say, more persuadable by Democrat arguments are going to see stories in their social media feeds and elsewhere of ICE picking up American citizens, of ICE detaining people that are here visiting from other countries, people that were brought here that were DACA recipients, people that were here for dozens and dozens of years and don't have anything, even a parking ticket to their name, other than the original sin of crossing the border illegally. They're going to see that, and I'm going to say because they're more persuadable Democrat voters, they're going to see this politician as being the righteous freedom fighter. They're not going to see it as a bunch of people that are only enforcing the law. They're going to see masked, tactically armed people that look a hell of a lot more like those military figures that we see breaking down doors and doing whatever the dictator wants in those dystopian novels. You're going to see people that look a heck of a lot more like the military that comes out of the Hunger Games than people that look like they should be American law enforcement.
You know why I think they'll do it is because of the 6 commandments of wokeness. There's 2 of them that are directly applicable to this.
Yeah,
and when I talk about the 6 commandments of wokeness, I'm talking about that little flag they hang outside in our house. There's 2 that are applicable to this. 1, that no person is illegal. That's actually one of the commandments of wokeness. So, yeah, you're here illegally. Oh, no, that's not a crime. No person is illegal.
Oh, on a side note
go
there,
ahead.
That's a dumb statement, just personally. Okay, keep going. Go to the next one. Go ahead.
And then the ultimate, I believe it's the foundation to the entire progressive worldview. It's at the very bottom of their little flag, but it is the one that matters the most. Kindness is everything. That's what it actually says, which is nonsense to me because kindness is not everything. But in their world, kindness is everything.
Yeah, and I can agree with you on that, and I think you're right about why those 2 things would be so important. And again, this to me is the people that support, that flag and like that flag. There's some things in there I agree with, but the idea of kindness being everything, no, you could have just gotten away with kindness. You could have just put kindness there and you would have been fine. You didn't have to say everything. Because now you have a qualifier. Yes. And you're like, I'm not, and you're right. You're like, I'm not certain that kindness is always everything because we've all had those experiences in our lives. And also the idea of no person being illegal. Yes, sometimes people are illegal. There are people that sometimes come into your house illegally. And I'm not talking about country. I'm just talking about someone going into your car, going into your business, going to your house. Yes, people can be illegal. I understand the larger portion that we're all part of the earth. Stop it. There are better ways for you to express it.
No one's illegal on stolen land, Bill.
Yeah, I know.
The other one I always found funny was love is love, which I mean is nonsensical because it's like red is red. Oh, no.
Yeah, which technically
up
red
is up and down is down. Welcome to the progressive worldview.
And I love that when people go, well, red is red. And you're like, well, technically red is not red. Because remember, any object that is red is not actually red. It's just reflecting the red light to the spectrum. So it's not red in and of itself. I know.
Then love is reflecting everything but love. Okay,
we'll
continue. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill
Show.
Show.
My kids hate me. This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS. I can always make it more complicated.
promise is bigger than the North Pole view. He's got a list. It's tremendous, they say. Best list ever made, believe me. Okay. He says prices are dropping, jobs everywhere, factories humming, flags in the air. Santa Trump is coming to town. Gas is so cheap you won't believe the sound. Prices down, jobs all around. Santa Trump is coming to town.
So good.
That is so good. We're going to use this as a bump out. I'm going to let this run for as long as we
Mr.
can.
Crowley.
Yeah.
I'll put that up on X if you want to download the song. Make it your ringtone.
It's amazing.
People still do that.
Yeah, well,
ringtones
can we?
these
I'd love
days.
to do that.
I don't know. I'll put it up on x.com/Jeff Hunt, and you can download it there. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. You've been listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
Hey, now I know that tomorrow's Friday if you were with us yesterday. Yeah, we're Denver's talk leader, KNUS. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.